Hello everyone. By the time I'm uploading this, assuming I get it uploaded on time that is, today is the 10-year anniversary of the US release date of Skylanders Giants. Last year, for the 10th anniversary of the first game, I talked about all of my thoughts on all 6 games, and I wanted to do something this year for Giants and perhaps do this every year when the games turn 10 years old, but since I basically reviewed all of the games in that video, I didn't know what to do. But I still remember the hype cycle for all of the Skylanders games before they released, so I figured that's something I can talk about. I can document my experience with the hype cycle of these games. With that being said, I didn't talk about the hype for the first game, so let's go over that one quickly before we get to Giants. There isn't really that much to talk about with the first game because, well, it's the first game. Skylanders was a brand new thing, so I wasn't really aware of it until the game released. And since the franchise had no history before this, it didn't have that on its side where you can get excited just knowing that another Skylanders game is coming out. Of course, Skylanders had Spyro in it, and before those games came out, I had already played the original PS1 Spyro trilogy several times. And I also played Spyro A Hero's Tale on GameCube and Enter the Dragonfly on PlayStation 2, even though that was the reverse of the order that those two games released in. There was also the Legend of Spyro games, which even though I fondly remember seeing the commercial for Dawn of the Dragon, and thinking it was one of the coolest video game commercials I've ever seen, those games avoided my attention for a long time. I didn't even play Dawn of the Dragon until after Skylanders Swap Force came out, and I didn't play any of the other ones at all, so maybe that would be worth checking out someday? So the fact that I recognized Spyro is already something that Skylanders had going for it, but I honestly wasn't so sure how good the game was going to be because I didn't like Enter the Dragonfly, which as a reminder was my most recent Spyro experience before Skylanders came out. But also, even though I thought the TV commercials were great, part of me had the feeling that it was just smoke and mirrors. But I was still interested in playing the game. It was just, at worst, 50% skepticism. However, all of that changed on October 28th, 2011, when my family took me to AMC theaters to see the new Puss in Boots movie that had just released that day. And one of the previews that played before the movie began was the CGI trailer for Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. And upon seeing this trailer, I was officially sold on the game, and was excited to play it. I even remember my mom looking at me and saying to me, "That game actually looks pretty cool." So then I said to her, "Yeah, I want that game." The thing is that I didn't have any of the consoles that the game was released on. I still only had a Dreamcast, PS2, and GameCube, of which I obtained and played in that order. So for Christmas, I asked my parents for a Wii. I was already interested in the Wii beforehand because I wanted to play Super Mario Galaxy, Kirby's Epic Yarn, and Sonic Colors. And now, SSA was another addition to the games I wanted to play, so now I really wanted one. And my parents delivered. They got me the Black Wii for Christmas alongside of the games that I mentioned I wanted. Since Dreamcast, PS2, and GameCube were the only consoles that I had, this means that the Wii was my first time experiencing a whole new console generation. And I'm so glad that SSA was one of the games that led me into the new generation, because what an introduction that was! This game was amazing, and it felt like for the first time ever I finally found a game that I loved as much as the Sonic the Hedgehog and Spider-Man games. So when I finished the game and heard Eon say that my journey with the Skylanders is only just beginning, I thought this meant that they were going to make a second game, so I got really excited about the possibility of Skylanders 2 happening. But of course, I didn't get too ahead of myself. Yes, the possibility of a sequel is exciting, but let's not ignore the fact that this game is still here, and that there's still plenty of things to do in it, such as finding all of the collectibles and getting every single Skylander. of which I accomplished all of the above before Giants came out. So now that takes us to Giants. Back in the day, there was an official Nintendo magazine called Nintendo Power, which talks about upcoming or recently released games on Nintendo platforms. And in one of the issues, there was this vague teaser for an unknown game showing a close-up of an unknown character's face with the text, "Something big is coming." This was strange to me that this was all that they showed of this mysterious game, but it was intriguing nonetheless. What was this game? Who is this? And if you say something big is coming, then it better be good. Little do we know that this was actually the first promotional image for the Skylanders sequel. Not too long after, in February of 2012, during Toy Fair, Skylanders Giants was announced, with an official Nintendo Power article going in depth about the game, while also uploading the first teaser trailer to the internet. When you consider the fact that Spyro's Adventure only released in October of 2011, and the game didn't really take off until the holiday season, it's kinda crazy how quickly they announced the sequel. But using Toy Fair as their way to do so was definitely a great marketing decision. So now, the anticipation officially began. I read these 4 pages of this issue and watched the teaser quite a few times throughout the coming months, being excited about the game. Then on June 4th, another Nintendo Power issue came out detailing more about the game. I can't find a lot of this stuff online, however, I found a website called Nintendo World Report that has the history of the game archived and summarizes what the Nintendo Power issues went over. So that's pretty cool. This site states that this issue is when they confirmed that there would be 16 new Skylanders in the game. There would also be new Light Core figures, but Prism Break was the only character confirmed to be getting a Light Core, and that Skylanders can now reach up to level 15 instead of level 10. The next day, we got our next trailer for the game, the CGI Tall Tales trailer. Any Skylanders fan is likely to remember this one. They would show it on TV sometimes, but we'll get into that later. And the video has over 13 million views, as well as 16 million for an alternate version. It was just a really done trailer overall, so that really adds to so many people having nostalgia for it. The environment and lighting is beautiful, the animation is really nice, and I think this still looks great to this day. The actual content in the trailer was really well done too, where they had the Skylanders talking about whether the Giants are really real or not, and listing off some of the mythological things that the Giants can do, which was also a really smart way of weaving some gameplay in the trailer too. Overall, this trailer felt like watching a cartoon, which is one of the reasons why I wanted them to make an animated series based off of Skylanders. All of the marketing for the first 4 games really showed how much potential that idea had. Of course, there was a Skylanders series eventually, but that wasn't until around the time Imaginators came out. So that's a discussion that we're not going to have until 2026. Then, one day after that trailer came out, it was confirmed by Eric Hirschberg during an interview with Game Trailers that the game will be coming to Wii U. Hirschberg stated the following: "That franchise is just such a great fit for the Nintendo brand. I'm really excited for where they are taking the Wii U and the hardware." The next thing we saw for the game was once again from Nintendo Power. This is an announcement that I still remember fondly. On July 9th, they showed a new giant, Swarm. I remember being so excited about this. It was so cool to get to see a new character. I thought he looked great and I was looking forward to playing as him when the game comes out. On July 30th, the game's release date was revealed to be October 21st in the US and October 9th in Europe. On August 15th, a new core Skylander, Chill, was revealed via a video on the official Skylanders YouTube channel. On September 12th, hey, that's my birthday, a video of Crusher was uploaded. On October 1st, a shorter version of the Tall Tales trailer was uploaded, as this version of the trailer was meant to be an alternative to play on TV during commercial breaks. This version of the trailer does actually have a few differences though, such as some of the Skylanders having different voice actors, the gameplay footage is different, and Crusher and Thumpback were added. I remember both versions of this trailer would play on TV, and in particular, I remember that Nickelodeon had a new TMNT series that was just fresh off of release, and they kept promoting that they would be showing a sneak peek of Skylanders Giants during the premiere of episode 3 on October 13th, which is technically episode 4, since the first episode was a two-parter. And the sneak peek that they showed was the long version of the Tall Tales trailer. I fully admit that this was basically the main reason why I watched the episode on its premiere, but I was already starting to get interested in the show, so being able to see the sneak peek of Giants basically just ended up being my excuse to watch the first airing of the episode. And this pretty much marks the point where I became a fan of the show and started watching all of the episodes. So even though I was already watching the show before they were promoting that they were going to show Giants, I partially have Giants to thank for getting me into the show the way I did. 2 days after the upload of the short version on YouTube on September 14th, a new Game and Features trailer was uploaded. And anyone who was a Skylanders fan at the time should remember this, because this video used to play on loop inside of stores that sold Skylanders, such as Target or Toys R Us, so on and so forth. These stores had kiosks to display this stuff, and you could put a character that they had in stock onto the portal, and it would play a preview of that character. However, if the kiosk idled for a while without anyone putting a character on the portal, then it would start playing this trailer and repeating it. So a lot of people probably remember walking down the aisles and seeing this on the screen.
Thousands of years ago, the Giants fought epic battles in Skyland, but were banished to Earth. They may look frozen on the outside, but they are alive on the inside. With a new threat looming, it's time to bring them back, using the Portal of Power to join forces with the Skylanders in the ultimate battle to save Skyland. It doesn't matter what you have. Skylanders work on any of these game systems. Buy the starter pack if you're new to Skylands, or choose the Portal Owners Pack if you already own Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. Build your collection of Skylanders. Giant Skylanders, Super Size and Super Power. Series 2 Skylanders, back and better than ever. Light Core Skylanders. They light up and have special powers. And all new Skylanders with incredible abilities and amazing powers. Play on your console, online, and your mobile device, anytime, anywhere. It's time for the Skylanders to join forces with the Giants. Only you can put them on the Portal of Power to bring them to life, to save Skylands. Go big with Skylanders Giants.
It's kind of a shame that kids nowadays won't understand how magical it was to go to the stores to browse for Skylanders, but I digress. There were also a couple more TV commercials made before the release of the game, as well as a What's New in Skylanders Giants trailer uploaded on October 19th, which is basically a video of the developers talking about the game, and that takes us to October 21st. The release of Skylanders Giants in the US. My parents actually pre-ordered the game for me. This was the very first game that they ever pre-ordered for me, so I'm glad that it has the honor of being such. And they also went all out and pre-ordered the starter pack instead of the Portal Owners Pack, since the starter pack included a new portal and 2 additional Skylanders. We went to Best Buy that day to pick up our pre-order. They didn't pre-order anything else for the game, but while we were there, we looked at what Skylanders they had, and we bought Crusher, Bouncer, and Pop Fizz. since they seemed like the coolest options, and they're also some of the most marketed characters in the game, with them being in the trailers and artwork for the game. So that's another reason why I chose them. And that's especially the reason why I chose Pop Fizz. Since they kept showing him in the trailers, it definitely seemed like Pop Fizz was being promoted as a must-have character, and one of the big mascots for the game. So since that was the case, clearly he must be good. After that, we went to Papa John's to get pizza, and then I got home, booted up the Wii, and started playing. With this being the first game I ever got on its day one release, it was such a magical experience to start the game and be treated with that awesome opening.
Be afraid of the dark!
Well done, Portal Master.
It's a gaming experience that I'll never forget. And now, here we are 10 years later, and the same experience I felt back then is how I felt when I played Splatoon 3 at launch last month. Now that I think about it, Giants was my first time experiencing the hype cycle for a video game from its announcement all the way to its release. Yes, I've experienced hype cycles for movies and TV shows before this, but never a video game. So this ended up being the first of more to come. One last thing I'd like to mention is the fact that Giants represents when Skylanders really started to take the world by storm. The first game was still massively popular, but the second one sold even more than the first, and it felt like everyone was riding the Skylanders hype train. And all of the tie-in merch that they made for the game further proves that. They had stuff like Skylanders backpacks, lunchboxes, t-shirts, plush toys, and so on. I used to have one of the backpacks and I used it for school every day. My brother and I both had t-shirts. I had a pencil case, pencil toppers, and erasers. I collected all of the plush toys, as well as all of the McDonald's Happy Meal toys. I had a great time sharing my love and nostalgia for all of you. So, with that being said, happy 10-year anniversary to one of the greatest video game sequels ever made. Thank you for watching, and take care.